Hello there and a very warm welcome to another edition of Channels Beam. I'm Victor Mathias. Now, with a 150% increase recorded between 2021 and 2022 and a 111% increase between 2022 and 2023, distributed denial of service, or what cybersecurity experts will refer to as DDoS attacks, are on the rise. Now, experts say a major change recorded in these news attacks in the shift to Layer 7 DDoS attacks, and particularly to HTTPS and DDoS attacks, which has introduced a new level of complexity and enabling attackers to launch far more devastating attacks than ever before. Now, these attacks are said to be high in requests per second and sophisticated in behavior, masquerading as legit traffic and going unnoticed upon decryption, leading to devastating impact on businesses, resulting in financial losses for businesses. Now, that will be our focus on the program today. But first, let's take a listen to the newly appointed Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani, on the plans he intends to execute as minister when he takes office. Gathered in this room are players in Nigeria's tech ecosystem, diplomats and officials of the World Bank, here to set the agenda for the newly appointed Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani. The World Bank Director to Nigeria, Shubham Chuduri, reiterates his support in seeing potential in digital economies translated to realities.
We feel that the digital economy, digital technologies play a critical role in helping Nigeria realize that potential. So we have been working for quite a while now with you to help realize that potential, from the infrastructure, policies, regulations, digital skills, as well as the national ID, which forms the foundation.
The minister doesn't mince words as he outlines what his term in office will focus on.
With my position, and as you can understand, Mr. President is also quite keen on ensuring that we drive up the population of technology talent in the country. So as a ministry, we're going to be driving a lot of energy, policy, but also investment into training a lot of technical talent to actually help power the technology sector in Nigeria.
The minister also reveals a significant move by the federal government that will seize Nigerian tech startups and businesses properly funded.
The government is actually setting up a fund for technology companies. So we've got access to about $500 million to start a local fund in Nigeria. And part of my responsibility is working with DOI to ensure that we actually domicile that funding locally in Nigeria, work with funds who manage and invest in businesses to ensure that those businesses that will benefit are true, real Nigerian businesses, right? And what we're going to see is that the pot of funding that is available to local innovators in the coming months is going to become larger. And as this pot becomes larger, because we want to leverage that money as well. So government is not just going to put $500 million and that's it. How can we bring more investors to add to that pot? And as we add more money to it, more of our innovators can have access to resources to build the companies they want to build for the benefit of all of us.
Interesting times lie ahead for the tech ecosystem in Nigeria. With proper funding and good policies, the players in this field may have more room to think and birth their ideas for the good of the nation. Channels to Many thanks for staying with us. That is how the Minister of Communications, Innovation, as well as Digital Economy intends to run the ministry. Hopefully all of these funds will be disbursed to the right persons, and of course would see many tech businesses having a bite of the cherry, as is usually said. But moving forward now, we're now joined by Bolabo Awelawa. He is the CTO to InfoPrive, and he joins us via Zoom from Lagos. It's a pleasure to have you join us today on the show. Hello, Bolabo. It's a pleasure to have you on the show today.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Let's begin with you speaking to some of the things that the new minister talked about, as with regards his plans, when he takes up office. I mean, he's already taken office, but when he begin to, settle in and, as time goes on as well. What are your thoughts on some of these things that he made mention of, talking about research, funding and all of these things that he talked about? What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, so I think the minister is right on point. A major challenge we have is capacity development, that skill level, especially following the attrition we face, professionals, skilled, people leaving the country, to better their lives. And the first steps is to develop capacity of people currently on ground, let them have a specific skill to, develop that digital space, the economy itself, and also be able to apply nationally.
Well, let's hope that that national application would come to pass in, no distant future. But let's go in now into this issue of attacks. Let me even just take you back, some months back to when the elections were held in February. We had a report of a number of attacks, that the then minister said, were reported in the country. Are we looking at the same thing currently? Because this happened just a few months in 2023. Are this perhaps one of those layer 7 new attacks that we're seeing?
So definitely yes. So the attacks are becoming more sophisticated to the extent where entities are using it to address political issues. So by default, like for example, Anonymous Sudan, their strategy is for it to look at issues at the governmental level and raise some sort of protest when they feel the needs of the people are not being met. So yes, it's becoming more sophisticated, and it's most likely a variant of this.
Well, so what should we be doing? What are we looking at now currently? I mean, what steps should we be taking? Because first of all, some cybersecurity experts then, even doubted the veracity of that claim that we had those number of attacks. So first and foremost, we understand that, at a point, these attacks come in a way that you don't even know. So they lay in your system and you're not even seeing them and you just think everything is fine. However, I mean, they are there. So looking at the fact that, there were this doubts by some of your colleagues, let me put it that way, how do we even bridge that gap? Because some are saying it happened and some are saying, it didn't happen, it's impossible for that to happen. How do you bridge that gap? What should we be believing?
So I think the first steps is for us to believe that, yes, these attacks do happen and they will continue to happen. The next step should now be, putting the adequate controls in place, the required controls in place at the national level, parastatals, agencies. Today, you see only the financial services, institutions providing such protection for their businesses. I think it's about time we accept the fact that this is a method of activism, and we should put controls in place. If you look at the records, the reports show that Africa has been hit largely for the past 2 quarters, from a telecommunications perspective, which is impacting our major telecom service providers and some specific service providers that would hit that national service levels and impact the citizenry to get the attention of the government. So we need to believe that this is happening, so the awareness should continue, and then the government and different organizations should put the required controls in place.
Yeah, so that's the thing now. Some don't believe, but like you said, you have to put yourself on high alert, so that when these things happen, you can begin to proactively, put all the right firewalls, as it's being called. But beyond that, one will be thinking, because now you're talking about telecoms and all of that, the rate at which financial inclusion is going or is spreading, so to speak now, let me even say it's spreading like wildfire in the country. And, these are perhaps potential areas where people should be very careful, because the finances of people are pretty much involved. The data of people are very much involved. Like you all say now, data is the new crude. So in this aspect, in this regard, what are the protection, what measures, what are the protection measures that one should be looking at, or even enterprises should be looking at as well?
Okay, so first is accepting the awareness and agreeing that, yes, this attack will come. Because we're going largely digital for most of the services, even at the national level, to be honest, the governing bodies like, CBN, some regulators are already, making moves from a policy point of view to ensure businesses and players in these sectors have the adequate security controls in place, have the adequate policies and processes in place to ensure customer data is protected. Also, customer service is protected in the sense that you, for example, we're going cashless, agency banking, your platforms and your appliances and devices need to continuously be available to service the citizenry. So you need to be able to show proof that I've put specific controls in place to achieve this. So definitely the policies will continue to run, and then the awareness will continue. And I think that steady partnership with the private sector, which is players like us, to provide these services to different organizations would also help, which is enabling, the environment to help us provide these services for organizations generally.
Yeah, but what we'll be looking at, because we seem to be speaking like on a generic level, like, what we'll be thinking of the technologies that are there, because on a daily basis, we see AI, doing a lot of stuff in every sphere. So what we'll be thinking, if one can afford, the normal stuff, what AI or what technologies are specific in terms of, protecting oneself, or be it an enterprise or oneself in this aspect.
Okay, so specific technologies that would prevent organizations from, a DDoS attack, web application firewall, that have specific anti-DDoS, functionality. So there are providers too they are just purely anti-DDoS service providers, and they vary on different levels. So a DDoS provider is better than the other, depending on the kind of traffic you get. For volumetric DDoS activities, you probably need an enterprise level service provider. And I'll be honest with you, some of these services are quite expensive for the average small and medium scale enterprise. So how government policies can help ensure the small and medium scale enterprises can afford, these services, I'm not sure how that will work. But the reason why today you have only the big telcos and the financial services being able to afford this, service is because of the cost, to subscribe to the service, and also, train staff, develop capabilities and continue to move as the attack vectors are, increasing, on the landscape.
So if you were to make recommendations now in terms of policies that would ensure, or that would drive down prices, or that would bring about a how would I put it now, a bridge where, small businesses and enterprises, can cross in terms of being able to have access, to these technologies that you say are expensive. What kind of policies can we drive, or can we even recommend in the first place, to ensure that, they are also protected as they grow their businesses?
Okay, so a couple of things can be done. There can be a policy that would encourage specific service providers to provide this service locally for us, and services, I won't say subsidized per se, but there has to be some sort of value add that small and medium scale enterprises can subscribe to the service, and they are also generating revenue. There's the part where the government, which I've seen some security entities and technology agencies are doing. They have these services and they can actually help protect platforms or businesses of some different parastatals and small businesses. So the government can decide to set up a large security operation entity providing this service and advising small and medium enterprises to subscribe to the service to protect their business. So it can be held at that national level. They could also encourage technology companies like ours in the country that are developing security solutions to develop such solutions, enhance it, and be able to provide it to.
All right, now let me just hold you there for a bit. So we're finding it difficult to hear and see you as well. We'll take a quick break and we'll be back in a moment. Hopefully by then, the internet issues would have been sorted. Please stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. You're still watching Channels Beam, coming to you live from our Abuja studios. And of course, we're talking about DDoS attacks, that's in cybersecurity. And we've been speaking with Bolabo Awelewa, is the CTO at InfoDrive. Let's just get back to you again. Bolabo, earlier on we were talking about, policies that can be driven in terms of, ensuring that small businesses can afford expensive technologies in securing themselves and their businesses moving forward. You made quite a number of recommendations, but we lost you at a point. If you could come again.
Yeah, before you lost me, so I was talking about for the recommendations were for government policies that would encourage cybersecurity companies like ours to, because we build security solutions, and the idea is to ease the integration and implementation of security practices into businesses locally. A major challenge is buying solutions and paying in dollars. Today, we're building solutions that would help mitigate that. So with policies that would encourage such partnerships where local entities build and develop these solutions, small and medium-scale enterprises can subscribe to these services and easily and would work. There's also the government intervention, which is building security operation centers, such as where small and medium-scale enterprises can subscribe to the service and can get maybe some sort of scholarship where you get security operation services for free to protect your business, to service, the citizenry. So different methods, can be applied to this. The idea is to ease, the integration and investment on security controls for small businesses.
Yeah, I would have been thinking that, we have about 7, what's it called now, tech hubs spread around the country, one in each geopolitical zone, one in the FCT, one which is run by the federal government. I would have expected or would have thought that, we would heighten or increase the what's it called now, the number of cybersecurity classes that are being taken in these hubs, so that we can have more hands, so to speak, because the more you have cybersecurity experts in the country, I believe you'd be able to have where small businesses can negotiate their ways if it means giving equity to some of these experts. That way they're invested. But I mean, it's your field. I'm just thinking, that these are things that can happen. But how do you think this is a viable thing that can also be done or recommended, to be carried out moving forward?
Yes. Yes. So you're very correct. The issue in the past was even the tech hubs didn't see the cybersecurity line as a major line to develop capacity and to grow business. So cybersecurity over time has always been an afterthought. But today, we are seeing tech hubs embracing working with us. So we have a couple of partnerships where we run specific curriculums with different tech hubs to develop cybersecurity capacity. And we're also integrating it with DevOps, which is DevSecOps, and the ability to be able to develop security solutions. So it's a work in progress. And, if it's encouraged, we would be able to do, a lot of work building, developing solutions locally, indigenous services that will cater to local businesses, small and medium scale enterprises.
Yeah. So what about setting up what is it called now, a center specifically for cybersecurity classes or learning? I mean, does that also work? Because I understand a lot of people also give themselves self lessons, self-taught. You have some self-taught cybersecurity experts out there who perhaps, or in some cases, in some cases, just have classes online and, just apply what they learn from YouTube and all of that. But is that enough for some of this daredevil attacks that we're seeing?
Okay, so it's not enough. We still need the support of the government, which is where I was going to. So, for example, we run programs, internship programs. We partner with tech hubs. We partner with training, businesses where they make us run cybersecurity curriculums, for their different, platforms and environments to train. But with government intervention, with government integration and support, we will be able to do more, nationally, which is developing capacity nationally, which, in fact, we're trying to get the attention of the minister to be part of that committee to be able to grow the capacity and push this curriculum out there. So it's a work in progress. We believe with this new dispensation, the minister is going to embrace this idea, and we will be able to work, with the government to develop capacity and, ensure we have the right skills in place and we can build solutions locally and to protect our businesses.
All right, very well. Let's hope, like you said, yeah, the minister is responsive and he would be able to, adopt all of this. Let's hope that this happens quickly and, of course, everyone is safe out there, businesses are safe, especially the small ones who are just starting their businesses so they don't get caught up in all of this. But I have to say thank you to you, Bulawo Awelewa, for joining us today on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
It was a pleasure.
Absolutely. Same here. Well, that's where we are. Don't be shy of looking for solutions to protect yourself, your business, or your enterprise. But that's where we'll wrap it up on the show today. Thank you so very much for watching. And as always, we'll leave you with the most viewed videos on our YouTube channel in the past week. Bye for now. I'm Victor Matthias.
I can see what's going on social media, how you bought a car, bulletproof car of 300 million naira that I'm using. So I want you to go and...
Kicking off this week's most viewed videos is the denial of purchasing a 300 million naira bulletproof car by the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike.
People should be careful not to destroy other people.
It's followed in fourth by the Network Africa program on Channels Television episode that featured the meeting of ECOWAS military chiefs in Ghana to deliberate on the coup d'etat in Niger Republic.
They are pretending, that, oh, now they are ready for talks.
Third spot is taken by the FCT minister again, this time on official duty as it takes a train ride from the Abuja metro station.
So first of all, the issue of security must be tackled.
The minister talking tough as he vows to sanitize the FCT comes in second place.
All the security agencies to do their work. This is my first time of having meeting security agencies. I've done that when I was governor.
But when the sun goes down, the other side of Baby Allen crawls out.
While Channels Television's special report on the Lagos Red Light District takes the pole position in this week's charts
and strip clubs.